It's a privilege to speak to you once again on the Activate series. Happy New Year and compliments of the season in arrears. Today we're going to be looking at a very important topic, a topic that will help you to realize your full potential and reach the end of your purpose in life. We're looking at a perspective on time. But basically what that means is that we're just going to be looking at how to manage time. Why is it so essential to manage your time? Man as a being exists in two different spectrums. We have winners and losers, we have success, we have failures, we have those who always reach the pinnacle of their purpose or their existence in life, as you might want to call it, and those who never do, right? And I know that the basic difference between these two cadre of people is how they manage their time or how they use their time. Right? Time is very important if you're going to realize your full potential. If you're going to become everything that God made you to be, you must gain mastery over the management of your time. It's very apparent because time is the scale by which your entire existence can be measured. Right? We've held a very narrow perspective to time as to the measurement of time in just hours, minutes, and seconds. But this kind of perspective or this kind of view allows for mismanagement. For instance, you think 5 minutes is just 5 minutes. I mean, it's not such a big deal, right? But if you put it cumulatively, you see that 5 minutes spread over different periods of time. It's a very large chunk of time, right? And so you must learn how to understand that mastery over time is very important for you to achieve your full potential, right? King David understood this, and so he wrote in one of his books, teach us to understand the brevity of life. The statement he made was, teach us to understand the brevity of life, that we may apply our hearts to wisdom, or we may grow in wisdom. Right? When you understand that life is brief, when you understand that you don't have all the time in the world to execute your God-given purpose on earth, it becomes very urgent for you to use time wisely. It becomes a conscious thing for you not to waste time, right? And it's very important. One of the things that guides against time management, one of the things that will help you to manage time effectively is understanding what your calling is, understanding where God has placed you, your original path that God has called you to be in life. And it's not just knowing it, it's about having that knowing to burn as a desire. When it burns within you, you get to spend time more productively. You get to spend time on things that matter the most. Right? So, for you to gain mastery over time, for you to understand that time is really important, you must have a burning desire. You must have this thing in you to always want to understand where God has called you, because when you see the end result of your life, when you have a vision, a clear vision for your life, it becomes easy to see that time is not supposed to be wasted. Time is supposed to be utilized. Time is supposed to be maximized. Now, I spoke earlier that if you hold time as just minutes, hours, or seconds, you're going to lose the essence for which time was made. Now, I said this, that time, it measures your full existence. Your entire existence is measured in time, at least on this side of eternity, right? Your full existence is captured in time. And when you have these broader perspectives, it helps you to think more managerially on how to use time. Because if you cannot manage 5 minutes, if you cannot manage 10 minutes effectively, the chances are very high that you will not be able to manage the years for which your life is measured in. It's a basic life principle. If you can't manage little, the chances are very high that you cannot manage much. So if you cannot manage a single day, if you cannot manage today, the chances are very high that you cannot manage a full year. This is how it works. It's a basic life principle. When you learn how to manage little things, bigger things come to you. When you learn how to manage 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, it becomes much more easier. It provides a template for you to be able to manage a much more bigger time scale. Right? So don't hold the view that time is just minutes or it's just seconds or it's just hours. Holding that view will make you to mismanage time. A better perspective to time, a better view to time is to think about it as the full span of your existence on this side of eternity. Is to think about it as the full span of your life on this time, on this side of eternity. When you begin to think like this, it makes you understand that life is serious. It's not a dress rehearsal. We're not rehearsing. This is what we have, right? And when you really understand that, you don't spend time on unnecessary things. Research has it that the average millennial, young people, spend 6 hours, an average of 6 hours per day on their smartphones, right? Now, smartphones can be an advantage to you. If you use it properly, it can be an advantage to you. I'm making this video from a smartphone, all right? So it's a good usage of my time. It can be an advantage to you, and it can also be a disadvantage to you depending on how you use it, right? This research it shows that young people spend an average of 6 hours per day on their smartphones. Now, how did we come to this phase, or how did we arrive here where we have so much disregard for the very thing that measures our existence on earth? How did we come to disrespect time so much that we can afford to spend 6 hours? That's a staggering 80 days per year. What exactly are we doing with our time? What exactly are you doing with your time? Right? When you get to understand the essence for time, you don't go around doing things that are irrelevant. You understand that every second that passes, every minute that passes is as important as a day. You begin to weigh a minute as a day. You begin to see it as important as one full day, because remember, if you cannot manage 5 minutes, if you cannot manage 10 minutes, the chances are very high that you won't be able to manage 1 day. And if you cannot manage 1 day, the chances are very high that you won't be able to manage 1 year. And if you can't manage 1 year, the chances are very high that you won't be able to manage the entire years in which your life is going to be measured. So what are you doing with your time? How are you spending your days? How are you spending your minutes? How are you spending your seconds? These are questions that will help you to realize how effectively you are utilizing time. Make no mistake about it. If you cannot manage your time properly, you cannot manage your life properly. And that is a setup for regrets. You don't want to get to the end of your life realizing that you could have done so many good things, you could have done so many productive things. Instead, you spend your time doing things that are very irrelevant, doing things that will appeal to people, right? That is one very good way to waste your time. When you're more concerned about what people think than what your actual calling is, or what your actual purpose in life is, and what your dreams, your desires are, or what God has called you to do. That is where your time should be used. Regardless of the opinions people have about you, regardless of the opinions the society have about you, you should stay true to your calling. You should stay true to your purpose. And when it burns within you, it becomes very easy for you to manage time. It becomes very easy for you to put time to effective use. So, time is important. Time is very essential for you to live a fulfilled life. If you want to live a fulfilled life, learn how to manage your time. If you want to learn how to manage your time, find out what your purpose is. Let it burn. Let it be a burning fire within you. And when you discover that fire, you discover that you have very little time to execute or become or do whatever it is that calling or that purpose for your life is. Right? When you discover what that purpose for your life is and really burns within you, you begin to set goals. And when you begin to set goals in pursuance of that purpose, you discover that time is really not there as you thought. Time is really not as much as you want to think you have. You don't really have as much time as you want to think you have. When you really break down your calling, your purpose, you begin to set goals to achieve that thing that burns within you, right? So time is very important. Time is very essential. Managing time is very essential for you to reach the height of your potential, for you to reach the height of your calling.